Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news. When the NFL rumor mill starts churning, you know something big might be brewing. And right now, the buzz is centered around a potential blockbuster trade involving one of the league's most disruptive defensive tackles, Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Chris Jones. To Atlanta, that's a game changer. And you're right. It could be one of those moves that shifts the entire balance of power in the NFC South and sets up Atlanta for a serious shot at contending for the Super Bowl this coming season. Let's take a step back and really analyze what's happening here, because this isn't just a rumor. It's a seismic shift being discussed by insiders like Adam Schefter and other league sources. The Chiefs, fresh off a somewhat disappointing 9-8 season that saw their defense leak points at a rate of 25 points per game, are in a bit of a rebuild mode, even if they're still contenders. Their defense, especially the interior line, has been a sore spot, and with the team looking to reset after their recent Super Bowl run, they're apparently open to moving Chris Jones, a player who's not just a key piece, but arguably one of the most dominant interior defensive linemen in the league today. And that's where the Falcons come into the picture. Atlanta has been building a solid defense, but they're still looking for that game-changing piece, a disruptive force that can elevate the entire unit. Chris Jones might just be that guy. Reports suggest that the Chiefs are open to trading Jones in exchange for premium draft picks, specifically a first-round pick in 2026 and a third-round pick in 2027. Think about that for a moment. A top-tier interior pass rusher who has been a nightmare for offenses could be wearing Falcons colors very soon. This trade, if it happens, would send shockwaves through the league and could propel Atlanta into a new stratosphere defensively. Now let's talk about why Chris Jones is such a sought-after player. Over his career, he's amassed an incredible 5 sacks, which is remarkable for a defensive tackle. That's a dominant pass-rushing number, especially considering he's been a consistent force for the Chiefs. He's also accumulated 336 tackles, with 220 of those being solo, and forced 18 fumbles, showing his ability to create turnovers and put pressure on the quarterback. His pass rush win rate hovers around 24.8%, which puts him in the elite category among defensive tackles. His PFF grade of 92.7 over his career speaks volumes about his consistency and impact on the field. Not only is he a disruptive force in the pass game, but he's also an effective run defender, with an EPA per snap of 0.16 in run defense, pressures totaling over 400, and a run-stop win percentage of 26%. When you look at those numbers, it's clear that Jones isn't just a pass rusher, he's a complete game wrecker who can alter the flow of any game. Just this season, he's been putting up big numbers again, 9 sacks in 13 games, along with 36 tackles, 62 pressures, and 10 tackles for loss. He's been a nightmare for offensive linemen, often winning against double teams with a 30% success rate, and he's been a force on third downs, disrupting plays 35% of the time. His ability to win against elite offensive linemen with a win rate of nearly 28% makes him one of the most dangerous interior defenders in the league today. And with the Chiefs' interior defense giving up an average of 132 rushing yards per game, there's a clear indication that bolstering that line with a player like Jones would be a huge upgrade. The Chiefs are looking at a projected cap space of around $14 million this season, but with over $50 million in dead money projected for 2026, mainly due to the Kels retirement and other cap hits, they're clearly in a position where they need to make tough decisions. For Atlanta, this potential move is massive. The Falcons have been somewhat in a holding pattern with an 8-9 record last season. Injuries have hampered their defense, with players like Dorless dealing with hamstring issues and Hughes on injured reserve due to ankle problems. The team's cap space is tight, just around $13 million, but by restructuring contracts like Judon's, they could free up significant room to make a splash. Adding Chris Jones would give Atlanta a much-needed boost in sacks, pressures, and overall disruptive ability. Projections suggest Jones could add around 14 sacks per season, increase pressures by over 80, and improve EPA per pass by 0.18. Plus, his presence would help the Falcons better contain the run, which has been an Achilles heel at times, allowing only 95 yards per game after a significant improvement from 128 yards earlier in the season. What makes this even more compelling is Jones's impact in high-stakes moments. His ability to disrupt third downs, with a success rate of around 25% against the Saints last season, and his knack for making game-changing plays in divisional rematches, could elevate Atlanta's playoff chances significantly. Plus, the Falcons' odds to win the Super Bowl have already been modestly rising, from plus 9,000 to plus 4,500, indicating that Vegas sees the potential for a real leap if they can land a player of Jones's caliber. From a strategic standpoint, this trade could be the catalyst that turns Atlanta from a decent team into legitimate contenders. It's a move that suggests the Falcons are all in on building a dominant defense capable of competing at the highest level. And for the Chiefs, trading Jones now might be part of a broader reset, aiming to free up cap space and acquire young assets to build around their future. It's the kind of move that could redefine both franchises in the coming years. Of course, all of this hinges on whether the trade actually happens. The NFL offseason is always full of surprises, and teams are often willing to make bold moves to gain an advantage. If the Falcons can pull this off, it would send a clear message to the rest of the league that they're serious about contending and ready to take that next step. It would also give the entire NFC South a new dynamic, with Atlanta now boasting a defensive line that rivals some of the best in the league, anchored by a player like Chris Jones. So Falcons fans, keep your eyes peeled because this story isn't over yet. The coming weeks will be crucial, and if the rumors are true, we might be witnessing the start of a new chapter in Atlanta Falcons history. A chapter where the defense is no longer just a work in progress, but a true strength that can carry the team deep into the playoffs and beyond. The potential addition of Jones could be the piece that finally pushes Atlanta over the top, giving us that championship edge we've been craving for years. Now remember, this kind of move doesn't come without risks. Draft picks are always uncertain, and integrating a player of Jones's caliber requires careful planning. But if the Falcons can pull it off, it's a move that could define the franchise for the next decade. Imagine a front four featuring Onyemata and Jones, with Grady Jarrett anchoring the line. It's a nightmare for offenses and a dream for us fans. The NFC South is already a competitive division, but with this kind of upgrade, Atlanta could be setting the tone for the entire conference. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, whether this trade happens or not, the Falcons are clearly positioning themselves to be players in this offseason's big moves. The front office has shown they're willing to be aggressive if the opportunity arises, and this could be the biggest one yet. For us fans, it's an exciting time. We're on the brink of what could be a transformative season, and the addition of a player like Chris Jones would send shockwaves across the league and send a loud message that Atlanta is serious about returning to the top. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. Do you think a trade for Chris Jones will happen? Would he be the missing piece to get us over that playoff hump? Or do you believe the Falcons should focus on other areas? Whatever your thoughts are, let's get the conversation going. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with even more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and we're all right here, riding every wave together. Let's make it a season to remember.